Good?
Yep.
You're on. What's up, guys? Taylor Gunn here with professional 105 strongman Nick Hein. Nick just got out of a pretty big show. Was it PSL?
Yeah,
Big win for you. And you smashed your ankle.
Yeah, I dropped a frame on the back of my ankle.
So he's been dealing with a lot of, how would you describe it?
Lack of mobility.
Lack of mobility on one side and almost hypermobility on the other
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
Relative anyways. So we're just going to go through, we've been both, before we met, we've both been doing a lot of unilateral work on our quads and knees. And now we're going to go through this. I want you to come over here so that you can see the stronger side.
Okay.
And then we're going to show the difference, and then I'm going to show a little exercise to correct it. So this is the stronger leg.
So on this side, I don't have trouble with external knee drive and keeping my hips square.
Yeah.
Just that pinky engagement.
Point it right at his foot. Come here, close. I want you to see all the activity. Go ahead and keep squatting, Nick. I want you to see all the activity that's happening here through these tendons and how much activity he's got in his foot. Just all the little twitches and wigglies happening. Go ahead and try to push this pinky toe down a little bit more.
It's hard to engage, yeah.
Yep. Good.
There we go.
Now go ahead and show the other side. And just, Teresa, get this similar angle.
So on this side, I feel that my foot, I'm gonna over exaggerate, but my foot wants to do this, and my knee wants to do this, and then my hips want to open up here. It's just, I think, partially due to the tightness in my hip, and then lack of mobility in the ankle.
So, I don't know if you guys can see it, but already what I've noticed is there's a lot less wigglies and twitchies through the foot, and his foot is even a little bit more swollen because it's less veiny and I can see less of the tendons pronounced. So what that tells me is exactly what Nick is saying is correct, but there's lack of activity kind of through here and through the foot, trickling up into the hip. Now, go ahead and just talk to me for a second. A lot of times, like, we get into these positions and we're like, oh, it's a lack of mobility or it's a weakness. But there's not a single thing on Nick that's fucking weak, right? There's just things that are stronger than other things.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're a strength athlete, things get so fucking strong and bound up, damaged. We don't need to increase your mobility or your strength, but we need to provide a little bit of a reminder of where those things are, because that's not a weak point, and you've been mobile there before, right?
Yes.
So it's not about adding flexibility, which is a completely different protocol for stretching and mobility and whatever it is that we're doing, activation, whatever you want to call it.
So it's a pathway issue.
Yeah, it's more of just a little reminder instead of like trying to hammer on it, you know what I mean? So go ahead and get back up there with your bad foot.
Bad foot.
And I'm gonna put the end of this under, not the toe, but the pad of the pinky toe right there. And then the other weak point being here under the heel, on the outside. Go and step on that. So he's got a little bit of a cue to tell him where to press those down. Go ahead and start squatting. And I'm just gonna pull this, and you're gonna keep these bands from snapping back into me. Good. So this is our resistance that we're adding to the movement. And you can see how much more activity is happening through here and up into the shin. Keep that down, you snap me in the balls. Come on, force it down. So now we're getting pretty heavy. This is getting challenging for him. Keep going. Good. Good.
Whew.
Better?
Yeah. It's funny how with the band there, it's almost like you see with bodybuilders and they'll kind of like tap a muscle to kind of send that neural pathway, and it was kind of the same thing because you know your foot's on the cold steel and it's a similar feeling all the way around. But as soon as that band's there, I'm like, oh okay, and it's like my foot had no idea what it was doing prior because my right here started cramping up almost immediately.
Yeah.
And I definitely see the use and point of it, for sure.
Yeah, so a lot of times It's the neurological pathway like we just talked about. So neurological feedback comes from our connection to the floor and our ability to react and produce force into the floor. So that's where we're like, you know, if you're like off balance, you're gonna correct it from your foot, right? Like that's where you're gonna feel it first.
Yeah.
So when, in terms of neurological stimulation, we always want to start at the feet as opposed to as opposed to the hip,
Okay.
right?
Would you say that not having that connection, your body's going to compensate, causing
Yes.
overcompensation, causing issues, causing injury?
Yeah, eventually.
Down the road.
If you let
Yeah,
it go
yeah,
long
yeah.
enough, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll like this, the way that Zach, my coach Zach McCarley, the way he likes to explain this little process is, I told you about it the other day, strength athletes are kind of like quarter mile cars.
Yeah.
Or when you get done with a show, like they have to rebuild the engine from scratch every time before it takes another run. So it's not like, it's not like a fucking beater car where we're just getting done with a show and then we're going back off road and fucking our shit up.
Yeah.
That will accumulate and cause problems and imbalances in the vehicle, as opposed to if we just fix everything from the ground up every single time, you're never gonna get hurt.
And it causes a shorter lifespan, well, shorter competition span.
Yeah.
You're not going to be, training
If you're fucking
competing
road
for
racing in the
7 years.
junkyard, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, do a lot more of these. Thanks for watching. Like, share, fuck off, whatever you wanna do.